Hello everybody, we're here, we're live. Let's actually get the sun up here and we can see what is going on. And why don't we cut right down to business here. At the conclusion of last episode, Valentina had, well, an unfortunate incident involving a mountain and trying to collect a surface sample, and it went horribly wrong, and she went for a bit of a tumble, and I was ready to end it there and call Valentina gone and work with whom I have left. But a request was put out to, maybe we should bring her back. Maybe we should say she is in the hospital. And I thought, well, why not put this to a poll? So a poll went out. Many of you probably saw it. And about an hour and a half ago, I checked it for the last time. And 299 people at that time had registered their vote, and although it was close, 56% of people said they would like to see Valentina back. So the KSC mounted a massive rescue attempt. Helicopters were sent, dogs were sent, and save files were edited. And what we got is Valentina is back, but it's not going to be without a cost. And by the way, if this ever happened where it was really like they died in space, the rocket exploded, you know, whatever the case might be, it was something that was clearly not just something wacky going on with the rather dubious Kerbal physics, then I would never even suggested that perhaps we should bring the person back. But Valentina is back, but not without a cost. She is going to spend the next 4 weeks in hospital, where she will not be available for any missions after that. And 2 weeks after that, we will keep her just on light duties, which means she's not allowed to leave Kerbin's atmosphere. And that's the way we're going to play that. So I created just a couple of alarms here, an alarm clock. We can see here when Valentina is going to be cleared for duty and when Valentina is cleared for space travel. So although Valentina is back, we won't be seeing her for a while. And just to kind of put it into perspective, we're right now on day 25 of, so we're not even 4 weeks into this campaign. And I'm going to continue to play the way I've been playing. I know I can simply hit the time warp right now and do it, but that to me doesn't seem to be quite fair. So I'm going to continue to play the way I'm playing. And when Valentina becomes available, she becomes available. But in the meantime, the only people I got are those original 3 of Jebediah, Bill, and Bob. So we're going to have to do something about that because, again, I do have the Moon Probe strategy, which is going to reward me greatly for putting my energy towards doing, sending Kerbals towards the moon. But I don't want to do that with only 3 Kerbals. I want to be able to sort of boost the roster, so to speak. So let's go into mission control, and if we look down here under the rescue and recovery section, we got 6 contracts here. All of these are contracts to rescue Kerbals from low orbit. So these are all pretty easy pickings. We have Dan P, we have John N. Oh, you know what? I meant to change all of them, but not all of them changed. So we'll grab 4 of them and then I'll change the other 2 later. But Dan P, John N, Rob DV, and Warrior King are all stuck in orbit. And if you're curious about the names, they are the first 4 patrons that that signed up with me. So what I'm going to do is every time I add in a new Kerbal, we'll be putting their names in on the new Kerbal's names. I meant to change Fredrim and Karuki. Those are actually Kerbal names. I thought I changed them, but obviously I did not. So what we'll do is we'll just grab these 4, and we'll rescue these 4, and then between the next 2 streams, I will fix the names on the other 2 and put in the next 2 patrons that I earned, and then we'll rescue those as well. But we'll start with these 4. And we're going to build a brand new craft. I want to build a craft that's capable of picking up 2 at a time to sort of speed this up a little bit. And I want to build a craft, I think some corners were cut on the Spark 1 that Valentina flew. So I would like to build something that is a little bit more robust. So Oh, I got a question there from Lofty. What mod are the strategies coming from? And he is speaking about these strategies here, and that is the Strategia mod. And this is where I was going to go next anyway. So thank you, Lofty, for pointing that out. There's these strategies. This one in particular, I grabbed this. You notice that, for instance, it gives me 40,000 funds for reaching orbit with a vessel with a mass of 20 tons. I was reading that as the launch mass had to be 20 tons, but no, it's the mass that gets to orbit. I'm pretty sure that needs to be 20 tons, or else this would be ridiculously easy. You could slap together as many parts as you want, put it on the launch pad, call it a day, recover, and just kind of game this and not really make it very good. But 20 tons is actually quite a substantial amount higher than anything I've put into orbit so far. I think my record is 6 point something tons. I can't quite remember the number. So I'll pick this up at some time in the future, especially when we start getting into building stations. This one will be great. But I think right now, this is not a very useful one to have, so I'm going to get rid of it. I did spend... Actually, I already had massive scales. Yeah, it's still away. I did spend 50,000 Kerb bucks to get this. I don't get that money back, but then again, there's no penalty for declining it. I think it's worth it to get rid of. Looking at the rest of these, I think there are some interesting ones in here that I want to talk about. I'm going to show this one because I think it's funny. There's the contract slot machine. Let's put on contract slot machine too. I'm not going to pick it up, but I think it's kind of entertaining. It removes the reputation loss for when you decline a contract. When you decline a contract in stock, there's a small reputation loss. It takes that away. But then it modifies the contract rewards minus 75% and or up 100%, some sort of random number in between there. So basically, you got a contract slot machine, right? You can decline, and get other contracts coming up and hope for the best. If I were playing with the stock contracts, I would get this one for sure, because so many of the stock contracts I don't want to do, and this is a way of cycling through them without penalty and adding a little bit of fun. But the contract packs I'll have, I like them, and they go in a logical progression, so I don't want to mess with them. So I'm not going to get contract slot machine, even though I think it's kind of cute and kind of funny. I also have Probe Frenzy 2. This would be great when I'm going to go probes. This would have been great when I was doing the whole moon exploration with probes in the streams previous to this one, because it gives you more science from probe transmission and more science upon probe recovery, but it doubles the cost of launching crewed missions, and that's what I want to concentrate on, so that would be a bad choice. I'm also looking at, although I can't get them right now, these guys are really neat. Let's click on, these are all for developing pilots, developing engineers, developing scientists. Let's look at Pilot Focus 2. They all kind of have the same flavor. I can't get it yet because you can see I need 100 science and I only have 15.6. But if I can get myself 100 science, I can definitely do this one. It costs 100,000 Kerb bucks to get and 100 science to get. But what it does is it doubles the rewards from tourism contracts, and all pilots will perform as if they're one level higher than where they are now. Well, so I think that's great. And there's similar ones for engineers. Engineers are focused around building stations, and scientists, of course, from building science. They're all very similar in their costs and in their rewards. I think I want to build up some science and at least pick up the pilot one and maybe work towards getting these other ones as well. Yeah, I don't know if I need to get into all the rest. There's so many fun ones in here. But what I think I'll do is leave the second slot blank, or the third slot blank for now, and focus on picking up some science. And speaking of science, let's just really quickly go into here, because I don't have much science, but just to show people kind of what I'm on. I'd love to go into this command modules here, because it has the 2 crewed capsules and actually a lander as well, the Lunar Excursion module. And I'd love to go this way. I need to upgrade the research and development to get here, and I need to raise 160 science, I believe. Yeah, it's 160 science, so that's expensive. So again, science. But the reason is because I'm not going to put a Kerbal into a Mark 1 capsule all by itself and fire it off to the moon. I could get away with it, it'll work, but it just feels from a gameplay perspective kind of like abuse. And I know for some people abusing Kerbals is kind of what it's all about, but you know, I already gave Valentina a pretty rough ride last time, so I kind of want to stay with that. So that's something I definitely want to work towards, is getting that one. I also want to unlock this fuel systems just for the bigger cans. Fuel cans and stuff, so I can start doing bigger launches. So science is kind of the name of the game. I do have a plan for getting some science going. I got an idea for some science that's still out there that's available for me to collect. But right now I want to get into the rescues. So rescues. We're going to get into rescues. So let's hide. Actually, here, we'll actually fix this all up. Let's add this to a contract. Lunar 1 is done. We can. Oh shoot, that was a mistake. Can I edit? Change the name. Here we go. We're gonna just change this name to. I don't know what this thing's gonna call. Rescue contracts. I don't know what the vessel's gonna be yet. Change the name, and let's go back to all contracts. And we'll add Dan to the mix. John didn't seem to get added before. Yep, now it's working. We'll add Rob to the mix. And we'll add Warrior King to the mix. And then go to rescue contracts. Why is there only 3? What's going on here? One more try. Then I'm going to give up. Who's missing? I got John, Dan, and Warrior King. I'm missing Rob. Add. Success. So these are all the people I got to rescue. They're all in low orbit, so shouldn't be so bad. And like I said, I want to do 2 at a time. Now, the only capsules I got are from the Making History DLC, the KV-1 Onion capsule, which holds 1 person, and the Mark 1 command pod from stock. Both of these are unpressurized capsules, so they're kind of limited as far as, you know, the Kerbals have to live in a suit. The Mark 1s, here, let me start with the Mark 1. I want to basically stack 2 of them, but the Mark 1s don't really stack particularly nicely. So I'm going to go with the Onion because I kind of don't mind the look of that kind of a thing, where the 2 onions are on top of each other like that. I'm going to actually take this top one, I'm going to rotate it so that the 2 hatches are going to match up. This thing as well is going to require to fly by itself on the way up. So I'm going to stick in a hex core, and then we'll put some stuff around that to hide that. But this way, this can fly on its own, and it can bring up... Let's get rid of this. And it can pick up 2 Kerbals and come back down, and then I'll fly it again and pick up the second set of Kerbals. Let's get into modifying this. One thing I'm going to stop doing is I'm going to stop taking out the parachutes. That could have potentially saved Val a lot of headache. So anything that is designed to come back into Kerbin's atmosphere, we're going to keep the parachutes in it so that we don't get the situation that we had just a little bit ago. But I wanted to configure this using Kerbalism. So let's configure the pod. So with this pod, we have scrubbers. Never mess with the scrubbers. They take the CO2 out of the atmosphere as the Kerbal breathes, and you don't want to ever mess with that, and you always want to make sure they're running. Speaking of running, they require electricity. There is also a monopropellant fuel cell, but there's no reason for us to have 2 monopropellant fuel cells. So if I go to the second one, we're going to remove the monopropellant fuel cell from the second one. That saves us 100 kilograms and 1,000 Kerb bucks, so I think that's a good idea as well. Now, for a monopropellant fuel cell, you do need monopropellant. So let's see here. Can I arrange this? Let's use these guys. And I guess... Oh my gosh, I cannot. There we go. I guess just for balance, we'll put 2 of these and we'll tuck them in here. just to put in some monopropellant. So only 7.5 units of monopropellant each. That's okay. The command capsules here do not have monopropellant. That's the big difference between this one and this one, is that these don't have monopropellant already in them, so I have to add the monopropellant. And in fact, what I'll do is kind of slide them in just a little bit. Okay. Oh my gosh. And they also do require, if we click back in here, sorry, this one, configure the prod. If we look at this, it requires not just monopropellant, but also requires oxygen. Right now, I have how many units of monopropellant aboard? Somewhere in here. I have 15 units of monopropellant aboard. By the way, I also need monopropellant if I want my Kerbals to EVA, because the EVAs need monopropellant for the jetpacks. The Kerbalism, it steals that from there. So I'm going to do a quick live pulling out my calculator here. I have 15 units of monopropellant divided by, what's the rate at which it uses up the monopropellant? 0.09 per minute. So that would be 166.66 minutes times 60 to get that to be seconds. So that's 10,000 seconds it will run for. If I ever get to a point where I have to turn on the monopropellant fuel cell, I'm going to bring them down really fast anyway. We're going to put another form of power generation too. But then I got to multiply that 10,000 seconds by the rate at which it uses up oxygen, which is 0.853 per second times 0.853. And that means I need 8,530 units of oxygen. And I got these small pressurized tanks. Going to do the same thing. We're going to tuck them right in here. Boop. How much is in each of these? Each of these is 1,700. Oh my gosh. Divide by 1,700. There's less in here than I thought. I'm going to need 5 of these. Okay. Gets me that. What if I... So we'll go up to 6. So I need 1422. All right. So I'm going to put 1422 in here. I just did, again, a little bit of math. And then we're going to grab these, and I got to put them on 6-way symmetry. We're going to have to find... I might end up putting these in a different spot. Let's just stick them here for now so I don't lose. But that should give us the oxygen that we need that's separate from the oxygen that the Kerbals breathe. Okay. I'm seeing a mention of parachutes. Parachutes is most certainly a good idea to put on top of this. So I'm going to use these two as parachutes. And yeah, that works out okay. And then what I'm also going to do for a backup means of electrical generation is I'm going to stick on, actually go 2-way symmetry, put 2 here of just OxSats and 2 here. So we got electrical generation from solar panels, and if somehow that goes wrong, we do have the monopropellant one as a backup. And we'll start with monopropellant fuel cell off. So if all of a sudden I'm noticing that things are going bad electrically, I have a means of dealing with that. All right. So let's see. We got, I'm just thinking now, Delta V budget. We'll get into cleaning this up a little bit. I'm going to completely change the way this is going. I'm going to give this thing about 1,500 meters per second of Delta V. That's my goal. So let's start with a tank like this one. And let's stick on... What happens if I stick on an old Terrier engine here? Oh, this is all messed up, the staging. I'll have to deal with this in a second. There we go. That's a ton of thrust to weight, more than what I want. It's also more Delta V, less Delta V than I want. Let's see if I get a smaller engine. Nah, the Spark would be too small. How about the Pug? Pug engine there. Oh gosh, it keeps messing up where it goes. There we go. That's more kind of in the ballpark. But I need a bit more fuel. So what I'm thinking, I was thinking about this ahead of time. What if I take these Oscar Zero hemispherical liquid fuel tanks. And these can go on radially. Like 4 of them. We'll tuck them in and make them kind of look nice. But there, that's getting into the kind of ballpark that I need. Thrust weight is a little on the low side because what I want is about 1,000 meters per second of this to deal with the final part of the Ascent, the upper stage part of the Ascent. So this is actually going to be the upper stage part of the booster at the same time. I think that's just going to be a better way of doing it than lugging around that huge booster that we did last time. I need a bit more thrust, but I still think the Terrier is going to be too much. Oh my gosh, this whole where this stuff ends up is driving me crazy. There. That's too much. I want this 0.9 would be fine. Something in that ballpark. How about if I add some engines here? We got ant engines. What if I took, what symmetry is on that? That is 6 ways on, what if I took this? These can go on kind of, done on 3-way symmetry. Put some ants. We'll tuck these all around, make that, it's still not quite enough. What about 6 ants? I'm picking 6 because these sort of little spherical tanks are in 6s as well. So there, that's getting into the ballpark of the Delta V I want. And thrust away. Oh wait, these aren't all on the same one. There we go. That's okay. Maybe I could have gotten away with 3. Let me go back to 3. Keeps putting the engines in a funny spot. I don't think that's bad. I might live with this. I might live with this right here. Now let's tuck this in so it looks nice. I want this to look nice. So we're going to slide these up. Sort of in kind of like in the spaces between the tanks. And I kind of like this idea. Maybe a little bit higher. So we're kind of in there. Yeah. I don't think that looks terrible. And I kind of like this idea as well because if some reason this engine fails, we have backup engines and these guys aren't stuck in orbit. Okay, so next what I want to do is actually clean up these spherical tanks a little bit. I'm going to drag them in a little bit so they're sort of in there. And you can also change their textures. That looks better. And then why don't we take all of these oxygen tanks that we had up here. Six-way symmetry. I'm kind of happy with that. I don't think that's a terrible looking thing at all. Here, let's slide these down a bit so there's some separation. I got 1,532 meters per second of delta V, 0.87 thrust to weight ratio. I kind of like it. Let's think about staging a little bit. These guys are going to go. This is already a decoupler. So we'll take that decoupler, we'll bring it down here. At the same time we decouple these capsules, we'd want to activate our parachutes. There. I think so. How much electric charge is in here? 380 units of electric charge. I think that's okay. We don't have to worry about science or data transmission or anything like that. I don't know. I think this is looking all right. I don't mind the look of this. Let's see here. So play with some textures. Then we just got to get this thing in orbit. I think all white like that looks better. That covers up. No, I think I need to keep that on there. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Okay. So what is the name of this thing? I'm going to get in the habit of naming these things after the engine. So this is the Pug. This is the Pug 1 dash A6 for the 6 ant engines that are tucked in there. Is there 6? No, there's 3. 3 ant engines that are tucked in there. Yeah. And I don't know, to me this looks like, I like this much better. Okay, lights. Let's light her up. Light her up. We want lights. And I'm trying to get better at being more lit up, because for when it comes to videos, nothing's the worst than when people can't see it. I'll flip these around. I'm going to put, playing around with different ideas. I'm going to put just flat out red lights, always pointing backwards like that. That looks okay. And we'll put, where's the hatch? It's always so hard. These are the hatches. We're going to put a blue lights. I'm going to try and get in the habit of always doing this. Blue lights by the hatches. Single symmetry. Tuck that kind of in there a bit. That's going to be a blue light. Is there... or white? That looks better white. And then the same thing above it here. Oh, I was on two-way symmetry there. I just noticed that. Blue light for the hatch. Get that back to there. That looks good. Red and green lights. Gots to have red and green lights. So let's see here. This is the top, so this is the left side, which should be red. I'm gonna put, what's it look like on the other side? Oh, the stupid decoupler bit's in the way, isn't it? Okay, let's put a set of red lights then down here. 2 of them. We'll move these oxygen tanks down. And we'll move these guys down too. This is purely aesthetic mode now. Keep those ones gray. I'm going to remove the symmetry. Oh, it was over there. Why is this still here? We don't need that. This is going to be red, and it'll be on all the time. Remove that symmetry so I can take the other one and make it green. This thing best not explode. I just read there will be a sad Mike Aben if this explodes. There will be a sad Mike Aben if this explodes. Okay. I want some lights up here towards the top. Fortunately, this decoupler's in the way, but I think that's just kind of life. Bum, bum, bum. Where's those nav lights? There we go. Again, two-way symmetry. Flip it around. Right there. Change the color to white, I think. Yep, remove that symmetry. This will be a green light. We're going to make it a blinky green light. Put the blink period down to about ½ a second. Put the blink on. Other side. We'll live with that bit of clipping. Red light. Again, blink period ½. Put the blink on. There we go. We got blue lights here. We need some lights. Yes, I know what I want. An amber and then a white strobe light back down here. So single symmetry. Flip it around. Change it to white. Make this guy amber. Again, ½ second blink on. And then I'm going to take that and put another one right above it. And I honestly don't think this looks bad when you do this. I'm going to take this one and just slide it down so that they sort of look kind of maybe like one light. And then this light is going to be white. We're really going to turn the blink down on. Blink on. Blink on. There we go. And that will be like a white strobe light on the ventral side of the ship. We got blue lights here. And you know what? I do need, I think, one more thing. One more thing. I think I need some spots just to generally light up the ship. I'm going to stick them right here. And we're going to just aim them downwards. Pitch angle. Aim them down as far as we can. I think I need to... No. I think I need to move them. Is what I need to do. I need to bring them down like this. That should help, I think, and you know what? If I do another pair, exactly the same idea, just the other way. And what I'm just looking for is something that will just generally light up the ship, should it be on the dark side. No, definitely dark is the way to go. And these will just be white. Save this. Okay, I think this is looking like a craft. So what we need to do now is we need to put this puppy into orbit and see how it goes. So, I want to launch escape system. Last time I used the junior system, but honestly, I think this will look better. And this is already a decoupler, don't forget. I can just leave that on there like that. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Boom, 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 boom. Put this decoupler with it because we'll stage these two together when the time comes. And I think we need to create an abort. Oh no, let's start building. No, let's start building ourselves a booster. So how much mass does this have? This is 4.8 tons, but keep in mind it already has 1,500 meters per second, and 1,000 of that is for the Ascent. So I don't need a booster that can lift all of that 4.8 tons. So let's get into my list of boosters. Well, let's try... This thing's heavier than I thought it was going to be. Let's try this for now. How much delta V is in that? It's going to be that. It's not terrible. Like all told, it's... I think this might work well. I think this might work well. Can I get the thrust I need out? It's a little weak on this end. We'll give it a try. Can I get enough thrust at liftoff? Oh yeah, these two boosters should be good. Might be a little weak, but we'll see how it goes. Now I want to contain all of this behind this fairing. So let's delete the fairing and we shall rebuild this fairing because it's going to come up. It's going to come up like this. Going to keep coming up. A little higher, and then it's going to close off around the... There. It's a thing. It's a thing. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. We'll give it a test fly. We'll see if it can get into orbit okay. It's going to go up completely autonomously. So sorry, Jebediah, you're out. You're out the door. There's no cargo in there. That's good. Boomity boom. What's the thrust on the bottom? It needs a little bit more thrust out of these boosters. I like a thrust to weight at launch of 1.33 in the atmosphere. It is kind of weak for this middle stage when this comes on. What? Oh, that's a swivel. What if I just swap that out for a Reliant? Reliant's a more powerful engine. Reliant. Oh, that's just in a funny spot, yes. I was about to say, that's no way that much more thrust. Okay, so that is there. I gotta check this staging over. That's a little bit more thrust at the... And I do need these to come just a little bit. Are these full? Oh, more thrust here. More fuel. More fuel. Right, this is gonna need all the fuel it's got. All right. Okay, step one in all this, I want to create an abort system, and I want to check that abort system. So we're going to go over to action groups. Again, remember this is for Kerbals, and I want my Kerbals to stay alive. Evidence from last week accepted. So we're going to make an abort sequence. On abort, we're going to fire this off. So toggle that engine. We're going to deploy the fairing so it can get out of there. And we're going to decouple this decoupler right here that's attached to that pod. All right. So let's put this into simulation mode and see. This is just a abort test. By the way, Mike, with Valentina recovering from her injuries, the Kerbanaut Corps is in need of recruits. It's rescue time. Oh yeah, that's okay. That's what I wrote. Oh, what did I say? Here it says, oh, I got a typo in my description. Okay. No, thank you for pointing that out. I'll deal with that when this is all done. Okay, let's see. Abort. So let's just hit backspace. There we go. And parachutes. And hopefully this will descend safely. Now, one thing I don't like about this, in fact, I should wait to see what it's like. I do not like the roundy bottom because this will clearly want to fall over when it gets down to the bottom. So let's get down really close to the surface and see if this might be something I might have some trouble dealing with here. Let's see. SAS on. If it fell over, oh, there it goes. Now it's falling over. Is it going to be okay? Yeah, I think it should. It's like a dumbbell. I could put some sort of flat surface down here on the bottom. That might not be a bad call. Okay, let's end this simulation. I don't like just the roundy bottom. What if... I think I know what I can do. If I never disable this... Me has an idea. What if I take just a regular, boring old decoupler? This guy. Slide that in there. Play with the textures because that is what I like to do. But then on this capsule, we disable the staging. Disable that there. Is this still all fitting around here okay? I think it's all right. And then go back to the action groups. The abort action group. Select that. We don't want to decouple that one. Instead, we want to decouple this one. Let's see what this is like. Again, I bet you there's Kerbals in here, right? No, there isn't. That's surprising. Okay, save. Let's do one more. Let's do another pad abort. Pad abort. All right, again, backspace. There we go. There. I think this is better. See, now what happened is I never did decouple this. See that? So now it's got a flat bottom. That should be better. I'm going to go with that. Now it's just the addition of another decoupler. The other thing, oh, I just realized how I can save a little bit more weight too. The other thing that's nice about these roundy ones is that they're completely covered with a blader instead of just having to put on a heat shield. So you don't put on a heat shield, but they don't need half their ablator when you're just coming in from low orbit. So I'm going to take off half the ablator. That saves a little bit of weight. All right. I'm going to check our staging. Oh my God, this is a bit of a mess here, isn't it? That is that. What's happening here? That is this decoupler. And then all of these engines should go at the same time. Is that right? With that decoupler, yep. And this is when we're ready to descend. That separates the capsules and then arm the parachutes. And that is going to be for... Let me think about this. No, I think I know what I'm going to do. We're going to disable the staging on this fella as well. And I'm going to put this all on an action group so that I put it on action group 5 so it's far away. This is so when you're doing a normal ascent, at some point you're going to want to lose the escape tower and the fairing and all of this kind of stuff. So I'm going to put all that on an action group. At that point, we're going to deploy the fairing. We're going to activate this escape rocket. And we're going to clearly want to decouple that when we activate it. There. So that will be a normal ascent like that, like that. I think that should be okay. Okay, let's go through our checklist. So, for crewed crafts, fine print is fine for contracts. I have control. Cabin space has been configured. Oxygen, yes, there's probably... This is oxygen now for the Kerbals. They have... Oh, if I put a couple of Kerbals in there... See, right now they're saying my food is perpetual because I have no Kerbals in there. So in order to give you an idea, I need to put in a couple of Kerbals. With 2 Kerbals in there, they have 5 days of food. They absolutely in no way... You know, this is just, again, a rescue and get them back down. We can save... There should be food in here. Where's my food? Configure the... No, there should be a resource for food. Why is there no resource for food? Maybe I need to be on here? Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Okay, let's take out all the food, all that water, all that oxygen. So now they're down to 2.5 days. That's fine. 2.5 days of food, 2.5 days of water. They have 117 days of oxygen because of all of these, but remember, this is backup for the fuel cell. That makes me feel better. Okay. Waste, we don't need to deal with. Radiation protection, we don't need to deal with. Science, we don't need to deal with. Power generation, we have dealt with, and then some. Electrical storage is fine. Antenna strength, I don't care about. Antenna speed, I don't care about. Storing data, don't care about. Propulsion's been taken care of. RCS, soon, one day I'll unlock RCS. Have put parachutes on there. Thermal protection, yes, we've dealt with that. Lights, put on tons of lights. Upgrades, let's just take a very quick look at these engines down here. I might change that decoupler up. How many ignitions are on this engine? This ignition has 20 ignitions and almost 6 minutes of burn time. That will be plenty, especially considering we have backup. The ants have almost 6 minutes of burn time and 77 ignitions, so that should be fine. I'm going to change this decoupler to this decoupler. That's coming off. That looks much better. Oh, I got to rebuild the fairing now. Making me rebuild the fairing, god dang it. Edit fairing. Oh, there it is. Okay, I think that should be good. Let's put the fairing on clamshell deploy, 6 sides, and we'll up the force a bit. We should actually test that too. Oh, actually we were, well, it should be fine. Cargo, is there nothing in the cargo? Just make sure. Oh yes, Kerbals out. Get out, Kerbals. This is going up empty. So the whole idea is to do some rescues. Okay, where is my... There, cargo, thrust the weights are all good. Hopefully. Fairing deploy, we did that when we were doing that. And the staging is all good. Okay, I think we're ready for a test. I think we're ready for a test. One last look at staging. Nope, that stage should be in with all those rocket engines, yeah. I got a feeling we'll probably... No, this is all right. This is good, this is good, this is good. Okay. Okay, let's do a simulation. This is going to be a practice. Get this thing into orbit before we do it to rescue some Kerbals. And this is just to make sure this thing flies. You think Kerbalism's a bit too much to worry about? Yeah, I can see that. I kind of like it. I find it has kind of the right level of complexity for me. So let's put it on the pug here. There should be nobody in here. Okay, throttle up. Engines up. Let's put this on here. And we're off. I love the way this exhaust is. So we're in simulation mode, so that's why we got all this wireframey stuff happening. I think it looks... I can turn that off, but it does give a nice, clear separation between when I'm doing a simulation and when I'm doing an actual mission. A little bit too much to the south, so we got to pull this way. And you can sort of see through it, which is nice. So if you do something like put on the aerodynamics overlay, sometimes I find you can get drag in some of these parts in the middle. And I think with the wireframe, we should be able to see much, much better where these drag lines are coming up. Okay, we're about to lose our boosters. Stage. Nice, going up a little steeply. Should be all right. Okay. Big fairing on this thing. You know, I could change these winglets to something smaller. That would probably save some mass and give me a little more delta V if I need it. But let's see what this thing has once it's in orbit. Okay, reducing the throttle because we're getting close to a minute to apoapsis. That feels about right there. Again, came up rather steeply, so it's not the most efficient of ascents, but it should be okay. Get rid of this for now. And oh, it just went into orbity mode there. A little bit more thrust. Don't want that time to apoapsis to start really. I like to kind of keep it right around where it is, 53. Oh, it just decreased a bit, so a teeny bit more thrust. There we go. Now I'll try not to play with it anymore. I'm kind of a fan of these like kind of lines that are coming out the back end here. That's kind of cute. Okay, almost at 50 kilo. I think that would be a good place for us to do the fairing. So that was 5 on the action group. Oh, that ain't the most clean. That's because that thing didn't fire. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that action group, make sure there wasn't something kind of messed up with that. But that escape tower is supposed to go roaring off forwards. I kind of do like these kind of roundy capsules when you stack them. They don't look incredibly terrible. They actually do look like something that might actually be something. Oh, I'm out of... Okay, that was just dumb on my part. My bad. I forgot that this is finishing off on these engines and not on the... Oh, I can give full thrust now. Was not paying attention. Okay, our apoapsis is at 80 kilometers. I forgot that stage was designed to run out, and it's meant to have these guys finish off the insertion. But to be honest, it finished off. It went much further than I thought it was going to. Okay, so let's see here. Get ourselves close to apoapsis, and we'll judge how much time we got left, or how much, if I have as much fuel as I would like to have left. And the judge is here. Let's see. We'll get ourselves really close to apoapsis. Orbital velocities is about 300 meters per second more than this. So you can imagine subtracting 300 meters per second from this, and it would still have over 1,000 meters per second for getting around. This is... I'm ecstatic. That is much better than I thought it was going to be. So I was aiming for more like 500 meters per second once it gets into low orbit. So this is going to be great. So we're going to terminate the simulation. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. $2,000 for the sim. Yes, the sims do cost money. Okay, there was something wrong with the abort action group. That was the only thing that went wrong. Or not the abort action group, sorry, action group number 5. So we decouple that. Oh, I put decouple the launch system. I want to toggle the engine, activate the engine on the launch system. So it just decoupled the launch system. Okay. Now this is set. All right. So again, one last look, make sure no Kerbals snuck on. They have a tendency to do that on me. All right, this time we're doing it. So this is going to be a launch. Again, save one more time. This is our inaugural launch of the Pug 1-A3. And then what I think I'll do too, if this works really, really well, is actually just make a crude one for going into LKO and stuff like that. I didn't turn on any of the lights when I was in sim mode. I didn't know how they'd look with the wireframe. We'll turn them on with this one for sure. Okay, so let's select our contracts. So these are rescue contracts. And let's pick out who's going to be our first Kerbal to rescue. So we need to turn them on. Let's see here. There we are. There they all are. All 4 of them, all in a train. And the easiest way, what altitudes are they in? 70, 85. They're all in around the 80, 75 to 80 something kilometer range. I think the best way to rescue them, these two are really close together. They might not be by the time we get up there, is we'll start with the person at the front, and that is Dan P. So we're going to rescue Dan P first. We're going to set that person as a target. Dan P is in an orbit that's 81 by 73. I wish they were in a high... You know what I think I'm going to do? Because I think this will facilitate this and have this going. You always want to go up into an orbit that's different than theirs, but with this being such a low orbit, there's not much room below the orbit and above the atmosphere. So what I think I shall do is go into a higher orbit, maybe around 120 meters or kilometers, and I'll launch ahead of them so that they will catch up to me. That's going to be the plan. And I'm not as used to doing it this way, so hopefully I won't mess up. If I mess up, I will just switch to a different target. So I'm going to time warp till they're kind of a little bit behind me, right around here. I love this little chain of them. So maybe around here-ish. No, right about there. Let's do it. Let's do this. So throttle, SAS on, throttle up, and let's punch this. Go. And this one's for real. Now, nice thing is if this does crash right now, it isn't a disaster, it's just a waste of money. Okay, so we'll get to about 50 meters per second. We'll knock it over about 5 degrees. And we'll lock that onto prograde. I'm assuming they're all in equatorial orbits. They certainly looked equatorial, though we'll go with that assumption. Okay, so I want this to be a heading of 90. That's looking all right. It's looking very good. And a little bit more to the north. Okay, just about to lose the SRBs. There we go. Again, maybe a smidge deep, but that's okay. That's okay. And like I said, this is now the real thing. No reverts or anything. This is if things go wrong, things go wrong. But at least no Kerbals are aboard this time. And right now I'm just keeping it locked on the prograde vector. I'm going to knock the throttle down because I noticed that my timed apoapsis was about 55 seconds. I want to like to keep it around there. And yeah, I'm just letting it ride up that prograde vector. I get a lot of comments, especially in my one video about getting to orbit, of people with rockets flipping out. And they don't understand what's going on. I honestly think, like, if you build something with big tail fins on the back like this and it's still flipping out, it's probably, I would have to guess, because you're getting too far from this prograde vector. Like, don't, you know, keep yourself, even if you need to adjust your ascent, keep yourself very close to that prograde vector. Right now, I'm not even touching WASD. And just let it ride it up. A little bit more throttle. Let's drop down to 53 seconds. That's that. Yep. Yeah, wait till I'm at 50 kilometers and then we'll lose this fairing. And that's action group number 5. There we go. And now we'll put some... That was kind of violent. I wonder if I need to... No, I don't want to turn the thrust down on the top dude. That worked better. Alright. Put the lights on. Get a good look at the lights in just a little bit. But right now we are about to lose our core booster here. And then it'll just be on that Pug and Ant engines. But not for very long. I don't know why that's a delay on there. Oh, we're going to 120 kilometers. That's right. I've forgotten. We want to go up to 120 kilometers on the apoapsis. That's our target. We're just passing 80 kilometers right now. I don't think this is a bad looking thing. Kind of cute. See what it's like once it's on the what was I gonna say, on the in the dark side. See what the lights are like, if the lights are helping at all. I find the KSP lights aren't very bright. I wish they were a little brighter. Alright, 100 kilometers on the apoapsis. Like I said, we're going right up to 120. We are already in space by a bit. Okay, there we go. 120. There we are. Where are all the lights? Here are those blinky... Oh, I meant to make this guy a strobe, didn't I? Blink on. There we go. It's my approximation of a strobe. It's not. It's functional. I think it's better looking than the craft Val had to fly. Val is in the hospital bed watching this on TV going, oh my god, why couldn't I fly something like that? Though, again, if this landed in the mountains, it might have been even worse. Okay, we're coming up towards apoapsis. Oh, wow, this is... you know what? Let's just circularize at apoapsis. We'll worry about the rendezvous later. Let's just circularize. And then we'll judge where we're at when in relation to Dan P. Okay. Now our periapsis is already at minus 22 kilometers, so it's almost out of the surface already, so this isn't going to take too much. I am super pleased with this vessel. This should be pretty good. I might just kind of stick with this for a little bit and just kind of modify things slightly, but as far as just doing what's needed in low orbit about Kerbin for the next little while, I think this is going to be a good... Again, we're going to 120 on that periapsis. That's good enough. Okay. Put you onto the normal vector just for those solar panels. Electric charge says perpetual, but the fuel cell should be off. It's down here, yeah. Fuel cell is off, so make sure that stays off. That's only to come on in emergency circumstances. All right. Okay, let's see our situation here with Dan. So, make a maneuver. We need to come back down. It is a little less efficient to do the rendezvous this way where you go up and then come back down, because clearly I put a lot of energy to get into this higher orbit. Now I'm just coming back down again. But I just think it'll facilitate this, make this go a little bit quicker. Okay. So I'm going to keep going down until I see 2 of these, and then I want to go up until one of them disappears, and I can see I need to be a little bit more, yep, forward in time, which is good. It's better than the other way around where you launch too late. Oh my gosh, I gotta take... Can I turn these off? There, there's just too many things to see. Okay, let's select this again. Where is that? There we go. 30 kilometers. Okay, let's start playing around with this. Okay, and a little bit more on the prograde front. Until... Oh, wait, retrograde. I'm going the other way. Silly. Retrograde until I get the double encounters. The purple ones too. Come on, where is it? There they are. And then go to they just disappear. And now again playing with the timing. Other way. A little more retrograde. Back again. Play with the timing some more. Alright, I'm probably starting to play around a little bit too much. Let's just adjust the timing, be done with this. Okay, 1.6 kilometer separation. It ain't bad, it'll do. Okay, let's view. Let's go get Dan here. So, yeah, let's warp to this maneuver. It's only 15 minutes away. There, now we can see it in the nighttime. Better put this onto the prograde vector. Yeah, it's alright. Oh wait, retrograde vector. Oh my gosh, I'm so used to going rendezvous where I come in from below instead of coming in from above. Retrograde is the way we're going. There we go. Okay, and what I like to do is stay out of map view. I like to stay out of map view as much as I can. And over here, if you click on the approach indicators, you get approach data for your target. We got nothing now because we're not intersecting with his orbit, but we will be very, very soon. It's only a 3-second burn, so I'm going to start the burn early, go to maybe about 1/3 of a throttle. Like about here. And we should be starting to see some intersect data. There we go. And then I'm just looking, and I just want to get that encounter as close as I can. There, it started to creep back up again, so I stopped my burn. But we're coming in 1.7 kilometers. So, I don't know. You can do. I love doing as much as you can from map view. I find it just much, or not map view, the opposite of map view. Staying out of map view. Oh, whoa, 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 come back. I had it still locked on the retrograde vector. Come on. Maybe some additional reaction wheels wouldn't be bad. It's a little sluggish. It gets the job done. Okay, we're 15 minutes away, so let's time warp. We rotate a little bit so we get a little bit better exposure on those panels. That's better. Now it's all perpetuals. Okay. Let's get over there. 12 minutes. I'm just watching my time to approach. We'll stop a few minutes early. There we go. That's on target, so it switched to target here automatically. Let's put it on the retrograde target icon, and we should see there. There he is, way below us. Way below us there. We'll see if we can close this approach here. And burn a little bit in this direction here. And I just want to watch this number. There it is, it's coming down. We're a kilometer separation now. Oh, it started to creep back up, so I stopped. Let's go look to see what's going on. Yeah, I need to push this a little bit more towards it. Towards the purple target icon. A little more like this kind of a thing. See what that does for us. Yep, that's bringing the closest approach distance down. Just keep going, and as long as I keep going down, I'll keep burning in this direction. Under half a kilometer now. Oh, and it was starting to stall out. 343 meters. We can now get ourselves a lot closer. You do want to sort of make those adjustments a little bit ahead of time, not at the last moment, because they're much more expensive in the last moment, though this thing has so much delta V, it's not going to be an issue. We found Dan P. She's still alive. Oh, no more electric charge on Dan P. Oh dear. That's... Okay. There's no more water on Dan P's shipwreck. No more oxygen. Oh, come on, Kerbalism. You had to have given them resources, didn't you? Oh, now. Now I'm getting relaxed. Okay, so... Oh, shoot. I'm still stuck on retrograde. Stop it there. Okay, relax. Dan P's fine. Dan P is fine. Okay, let's push this towards the target here. Dan P is starting to come into visual range. I can see the little dot there. Coming within 27 meters. Oh, Luke is asking, what's the specs on my PC? I would have to look them up. Ask me in the comments or in the Discord. I am really terrible with all that kind of stuff, just remembering them. Remembering numbers and all of that. Oh, I best start slowing down here. We're only 25 seconds away. Push that right on it. There we go. Okay. And we are about to meet Dan P. We'll find out what class Dan P is too. Let's slow right down. Alright. Down to just 0.4 meters per second. Let's just sort of finish this off here. Oh wait, I gotta be careful here with ignitions. I gotta remember that. I'm so used to... Maybe putting more ignitions on that wouldn't be a bad idea. It's only down to 8 ignitions now. Remember, I do have the ant engine, so if it gets worse... you know, if that one fails, I still got the ant engines, but maybe a good thing to do would be to upgrade this engine. Alright, I'm going to turn the hatches towards Dan B. Or Dan P, I'm sorry. Whoops. That's why it's nice to put these blue lights near where the hatches are, especially in this pod where it's easy to forget where the hatch is. We'll switch on over. There she is, and Dan P is a scientist. Excellent. Okay, and what's really nice is even though it's this kind of pod, Kerbalism for this puts in a monopropellant for it, even though this kind of pod normally doesn't, because if it didn't have monopropellant, Dan P would have no way to EVA over, or at least it would be significantly harder, but we do have the requisite one. Let's get over there. Just change our view here a bit. Put the lights on. Whoa! There we go. And Dan's going to take the right side up capsule. That's the privilege of being here first. Alright, so now that that is done, we have Dan P aboard. We still have to get her down to the surface. We also need now get our next Kerbal, and so let's put back on all of our... There we are. So this is us. This is our next Kerbal. That's going to be our next target. It's best to sort of make your way backwards, as you'll see in just a little bit. So let's set that as a target. And what I should be able to do, all I need to do is slow myself down. And for those people that are new to the game, what I don't want to do is just point myself that way and burn towards them. That would end up being very, very difficult. It's much easier. I'll do it with a maneuver, though. You can do this without a maneuver. Set up a maneuver. Look at the encounter indicators. Now I'm going to start giving myself some prograde. And as I do prograde, I should be increasing my apoapsis, right? Yep. And that should be slowing myself down. What? Yep, there they come. And you can see these close encounter indicators coming. And I'm looking now at the purple ones. Okay, I overdid it just a little bit. So we'll come back a little. And there we go. There's our encounter. 0.2 kilometers separation here. And so what we're doing is we're going into this slightly higher orbit, which is slowing us down. And by the time we get back to here, we've slowed down enough that we'll be rendezvousing with Rob DV right there. Now, one thing you do want to be a little bit careful of if you're doing this yourself, pay attention to how much you're burning here. It's about 51 meters per second. That's about as much as you're going to burn at the rendezvous end of it as well. So this is going to cost me about 102 meters per second. I can easily afford it, but you know, you do want to kind of pay attention to that. So let's put ourselves just simply on the prograde vector. Get ready for this burn. Oh, I'm still on target orbit. I'm missing the burn, but that's not a big deal. This isn't actually too... In fact, what I can do is simply take this away and just start burning prograde and just watch those close encounter indicators as I burn prograde. I didn't need the maneuver. Here they come. There. And just sort of watch them there. There they are. And just keep it locked on prograde. A little bit more. Okay, slow down. And at about 0.8, I should be able to get that. There we go. Oh, 0.5 kilometers right there. So you don't even need the maneuver node to do this. Back onto normal vector for those solar panels. And we're going to be meeting up in about 15.5 minutes. And of course, although we have tons and tons of fuel, we are running out of cabin space. So that is... Oh, I'm still locked on prograde, silly. That is going to be the limiting factor here. All right, let's get to them. So we're going to have to do the better part of an orbit. Go a little faster. Oh, I think he just went below us there. Okay, put this back on target. Retrograde. Oh, I can see we're quite a ways off here. I'll let myself get... Wait a minute, what is going on? Oh, I'm on... Ah! Silly Billy. It switched to periapsis and apoapsis. Oh, we're still 14 minutes away. Okay, let's get closer. I was a little bit confused there. Guess it could have been worse. I could have blown right by it. I had it on the wrong tab. Okay. Again, we'll stop a few minutes before so that if in case we need to make some adjustments, though we are coming in pretty good here. Am I still time warping? Oh, retrograde. There we go. I can see it below me. It's in the clouds if you can see the waypoint. Rob DV's shipwreck. These things, people were asking lack of heat shield. These don't need, these have a blader all the way around them. I don't need the heat shield. I do agree that you can actually deorbit without a heat shield, and it's pretty much fine. I kind of don't like doing that. All right. Pushing that towards there a little bit. Close this gap a little more. You know, I think I'm only going to do one of these rendezvous this stream. I'll get something else to do after this is done, and then we'll rescue the other two next episode, because these take a long time doing these rendezvous. Oh, we found Rob DV. He's alive. Now I'm sure we're going to get all those danger warnings, but remember last time they all went away. Whoops. We're coming in real fast. Look how fast I'm going. What am I... Don't go so fast. Stop. My air. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I actually blew away. Silly. I panicked. I panicked. Why aren't you spinning around? Am I still time warping? No. Oh, I need to go this way. Yep. I overcooked that. I just panicked. All of a sudden I realized I was only like 10 or 15 seconds away from approach, and I hit the thrusters. And actually overdid it. So let's fix that. Okay, let's spin around again. Man, how many ignitions are left on this? I'm definitely going to upgrade that. Oh, one ignition left on that Pug engine. Good thing I have those backup engines. It is a good thing. Alright, so we're going to do this a little more sanely this time. Okay, let's bring ourselves to a relative stop. Saw a warning. I didn't know what that was. What's the warning? Oh, this is a beautiful stop. Look at that. A little bit embarrassing there at the end, but... Oh, I think my engine just failed. That was that warning. See that? My Pug engine's failing. Now there's a park job. I'm sorry. I'm proud of that. But when it's yellow, that means it can be repaired by a Kerbal. So maybe we can get Dan here to do a bit of a fix. What class is Dan? Dan is a pilot, but I don't know. I don't know if they need to be an engineer or not. Let's find out. So we're going to do an EVA. Let's go down and take a look at that engine. See if Dan can do anything about this. Service the engine. Ah, engine is repaired. A power kick did the trick. So there we go. Nicey nice. Now Dan has to go in the upper upside down capsule, which is going to be fun for him on re-entry. He gets to hang upside down while in on re-entry. What I think is affectionately referred to as the eyes out orientation. And we got our Pug back. Our Pug now has 20 ignitions. I still think it's better for me to upgrade this Pug, though. I think that'd be a good idea. Okay, so we need to get ourselves down to the surface to complete these two contracts. Let's again turn everything off. Oh, wait. Can I whatever. Where is the Kerbal Space Center? Right here. I'm noticing my electric charge is not doing the bestest. Oh, that's because the sun almost has gone down. Let's just do some solar panel fixing here for a bit. That's good. Now it's back to perpetual again. All right, let's get these folks down to the surface. So, where is the... Oh, let's put on there. And I'm going to try and do a better job and not put them into the mountains this time. So I'm going to time warp until we're underneath where the Woomerang launch site. Pug batteries are almost empty? Oh, really? Okay, we're going to be in the sun in a moment. I didn't realize the batteries are as low as they were. Batteries are empty. Life support systems are off, but batteries are back on again. Let's just make sure our scrubbers are okay. Maybe some more batteries might not be a bad plan. Or paying more attention might be better. Let's see. Our scrubbers are running again. Good, good, good. Oh, I could have run the fuel cell. That's what the fuel cell's there for, but I knew the sun was coming up. Okay, we are going to put this on orbit, put this on retrograde. We're going to make sure that I'm not going to drive into Dan's debris. We are not. I always want to check that. And I'm going to make sure that our X from trajectories is well into the ocean here. Where are we? Oh, here we are. Yep. Okay, now we should be Whoa, there it comes. And right about there. That should be good. This should be safe. Now, this prediction by the Trajectories mod is a bit off. We will be coming short of this. And the reason is because we're going to be shedding this little service module bit. But what we're shedding is not that much mass, so it shouldn't be off too much. But I'm going to put myself again onto this normal vector. How are our batteries doing? I want to charge those batteries right up. Are they charged right? They are not. Okay. I might run that fuel cell for a bit too. Point those solar panels at the sun. Maybe electrically there can be some improvements that can be made. Let's turn on that fuel cell. That's here, and monoprop fuel cell. I want to get as much electricity going as I can. How's that? That's charging up a little better now. Yeah, maybe some batteries is a good idea. But anyway, they'll be fine. I think I've said that before, though. Batteries are recharged. Are they all recharged? No, they're not recharged, but they're doing fine. Okay, just hitting the atmosphere, so let's do that. Onto the retrograde vector. How much electricity do we got left? Oh, we still have the power. We're fine. Electricity is still perpetual. Okay, here we go. And I heard the thing, wait, did he name them after you guys? I am naming them after my patrons. So the first 4 are my first 4 patrons, some of which are in the chat right now. And I will continue to name new Kerbals after my patrons, working my way down the list in the order in which they joined. I think that's the fairest way to do it. All right, and this is looking, where's our trajectories prediction? See, our trajectories prediction's a little short from where it was before, but there's a lot of ocean here to aim for, so I need to not be as frivolous as I was. We're coming over the mountains that did Valentina in last time, so at least going into the mountains isn't going to be an issue. And Dan and Rob seem to be having a very good time. Yep. James is mentioning that I disabled the staging so that this base stayed on here, because if I ever put this down on the surface, it'd be nice for the bottom of this not to be rolly. And oh, we are getting into some tumbling happening here. Okay. Okay. Geez, that's not encouraging. I don't want this probe core. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. All right, so improvements can be made. If this probe core ever overheated and broke, I mean, this pod's okay. It's got parachutes on it. But this pod would be in a lot of trouble. Oh, I guess that's when you bail and you use their parachutes. That's why I'm going to always not take those parachutes off. All right. We're still on 4 times speed, and everything seems to be okay. I think there are improvements to be made here. I gotta think about what said improvements should be. But for now, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm gonna tuck these parachutes down a little bit too. I don't like this gap between that's in here. So I want to upgrade the Pug engine. I definitely want to do that. Munar 4B batteries are almost empty, shutting down. The Munar 4B is a probe sitting on the surface of the moon. That's not too exciting, but probably it is in the depths of that lunar night. All right, we are just about there. I think we managed to do this reasonably okay. All right, let's recover. All right, no science to be collected there. We now have Dan and Rob. They are now level 1. They're actually, ironically, my first level 1s. I guess Valentina is technically level 1 because she did do an orbit last time and come back, but she is out of commission, so they're my only level 1s right now. But I got a pilot and a scientist, a whole bunch of world firsts. We have performed a rendezvous maneuver around Kerbin. We have performed a crew transfer near Kerbin. We certainly did do those things. These are our saving these people contracts parameters all coming back for us. And we got a new strategy available, Local Science 3, but I am not going there. What I really want to do is science. Let's start by getting in and doing the improvements on this thing that I realized it really should have. So, improvements on this. Overall performed, I think, all right, but I think there's definitely some improvements that can be made. Like, for instance, making that silver. That's definitely an improvement. But a big thing would be what we're... Oh, yes, the Pug engine. The Pug engine down here at the bottom. You can upgrade these engines in Kerbalism. The engine quality now is standard. I can change that to high. And now I get more ignitions and more burn time for doing that. I think that's a good idea. So I'll put that on high. It does cost some money. If you watch the money and the delta V, they'll both go down when I do that. Because it costs a bit of money and it costs a bit of delta V. Where's my... It has 1,100 units. I can't have just that. I am so confused. It has more delta V than that. I don't know. 1,101 meters per second of delta V. I thought it was more than that. Oh, that's because of the high. Oh, it only knocks off 2 meters per second of delta V. I don't know. I don't know why that's so low. But anyway, that's on high. Is it on high? It's on high. So that's good. I wanted to get these parachutes. And this is just an aesthetic choice. I'm going to just kind of slide them in a little bit like this. I think that looks a little bit better. I'm also going to right click on them and put the spread angle out so they're spread out a bit more. I didn't like the way it oriented itself sideways as it was coming down. One way to fix that is more reaction wheels, but that will just increase the electrical demands, and this thing was challenged enough with electricity. But another thing I might just do... Oh my gosh, these are huge. What if... that 4 times symmetry, spin them around. No, I was right the first time, this way around. We'll get in here and do a little bit of tucking, but this will create a little bit of drag. Actually, they probably will create a fair degree of drag, and if I tuck them in, I don't think they look entirely ridiculous. I don't think that looks super stupid. But putting some, this will create some drag up top. I didn't sacrifice too much in delta V. Keep in mind, this thing had a ton a ton of delta V. It had more than it needed, so I don't mind adding a little bit more weight. I do have to give this a little bit more thrust now. We'll see if that helps on the re-entry, if it'll keep it sort of more, you know, lined up the way you want it on the re-entry. But I'm thinking this is going to be pretty good. Now I'm looking at the time stream. I'm thinking, yeah, we'll do the other two rescues. We got 4 more rescues I want to do. We'll do that, and I also have an idea for some science collecting, because I do want to get some science to get some other things going, all in preparation for getting ready to get ourselves going to the moon. But here we go. We've got 2 Kerbals. We rescued them. We brought them down. We have a vessel, I think, that is reasonably proved itself reasonably reliable. Let's hope. And let's hope that it becomes a good vessel for me. Oh, I'm seeing that I'm just noticing these fins are tucking through the fairings. She can't have that. Can't have that. Let's tuck that in a little bit better. That looks better. But I'm thinking this is going to be the end for this stream. So I'm going to thank everybody in the chat for tuning in. Thank everybody who's watching this at a later date for watching, and hope to see you again on Thursday. See you, everybody.